here's the piece for your sleeve. You need to prepare and tear a piece of muslin that is about 20 inches wide by about 18 inches long, and then you want to establish the center of that piece with the grain line, again just by pulling a thread, and that is putting your finger here and dragging a pin all the way down. Draw it in pencil. Okay, next piece. Also, you're going to need for this design is your basic sleeve sloper, some paper, and a paper scissor with a pencil. Okay, let's tackle the sleeve now, but before we do that, I want to show you this sketch again, because proportion is very important in fashion design. And on this sketch, you can see that I'm going to gauge that this is probably the elbow. And I'm saying that possibly that this sleeve length is probably anywhere from 2 to 2.5 inches above the elbow. And also that all the fullness on this sleeve is just at the center of that sleeve. So after you do that, you need to get your basic sleeve sloper, which I have here. You trace that sleeve sloper with paper like I have here. Put your notches on for your front and your back, and for the center of the sleeve as well as the center here. After you do that, we have our prepared muslin, like I said before, with a center line already pulled. You want to cut just on the center of that sleeve, the top cap, and you don't want to cut all the way through, just about, almost, but all the way through. Put it back on your muslin like this, and we're just going to separate it 1 to 1.5 inches away from the center as far as my tuck goes. And I'm going to do another little marking the same way there. Then I'm going to manipulate this pattern just to that marking, like that. And let's get some more pins on here. I'm just going to put some regular pins. Okay, and then on this side I'm doing the same thing. So I have it separated about 1.5 inches away from the center of that sleeve. And I'm going to lightly trace around this sleeve with my sloper. And the sloper again is a pattern without seam allowance, because then we're going to be doing more. I'm going to put like a little light marking here. I'm going to continue on this side like this, and all the way down here as well. Okay, I'm going to put all of this marking here. Once you have that, you take this off, and I have my markings for my front of the sleeve and the back of the sleeve like that. Here's my little tuck. And this is just a gauge, because we're gonna actually drape it. You want to make sure that you have enough space here for the seam allowance. Because I'm not going to really touch this part of it, I'm going to add the seam allowance on the bottom portion of the sleeve only till about here, and then I'm going to leave this out. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, just the bottom portion, giving myself the seam allowance on this sleeve like that till I get to about the notch area. The width I'm probably not going to change, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. If I do decide to change it, I can always go in, not out. And we don't want to fix the bottom of this, so we're just going to go up to the highest point here like that and give a straight line just like that. And you make sure you put your ruler on that pulled line. So there you go for the length, and we can change that as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this, and I'm only going to cut it around here on the muslin. Then I'm going to go out. Just going to take some of this out. I don't need that. I'm going to cut a little bit here because we can change that length as we please. And I'm going to cut this side as well, and around the back. Okay, so now we have the sleeve ready to drape on the mannequin. Next step. I wanted to show you real quick that I pinned the bottom part of the sleeve together, and also the hem. There will be some more corrections on that hem. In order for this to be pinned, you have to put a ruler inside so that you can fold one side over the other and not pin it to your sleeve. That's the trick, and then you take out that. So now we're ready to put it on the dress form. Okay, let's go. Here I am with the sleeve partly on the dress, on the actual dress. And what you need to do is from that bottom part, from notch to notch, front notch to the back notches, you have to pin along the seam line around the bottom of the sleeve. So I'm going to continue that pinning on the back side of the sleeve here. After you do that, let's get that one more pin in there. And I'm just going right on the seam line. Then you can put the top of your sleeve above here, and then you can see that it's falling nicely. I have the center of that line should be exactly on the center where the shoulder intersection is. And I'm going to put a pin to hold that down for now, like that. And then I have my two markings. Remember this marking and this marking? I'm going to make a tuck. So I'm going to take this side and move it over to this side and put a pin to hold that tuck down like that. I'm going to do the same thing to this side where this marking is to the center, and I'm going to put a pin there as well all the way through all of it. Okay, so this is where you start to gauge it with the draping. It's falling nicely. We have the beautiful tuck there. We have the fullness that we want here. And this is where you have to gauge how far down you want to make that cap. If you go up too high, your sleeve will hike up. If you go down too low, it's not going to form as well. So you want to make sure you're just right with where that sleeve should be as it's fitting on the armhole. Once I have it where I want it, it looks like it's pretty close to that little light drawn out area that I have. I'm going to put a pin at the center again, like this, and I'm going to just lightly dot all the way along where that shoulder is. If you have to peek and make sure where that shoulder line is here, you want to go ahead and do that. I'm going to move that over, and there's the little shoulder line. I'm going to just feel that groove and dot, 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 add seam allowance, and we'll be back with the finished sleeve. And with the final product, we've got that fabulous twist bow in the front, the yoke, the fitted dress, and the fabulous sleeve. Thank you so much for watching this episode, and give me a thumbs up if you'd like this video. Check out my website, eliascouture.com, and ask me a question because you know I'm going to answer it. Thank you. Bye-bye.